Hashem's name will be blessed forever and ever. We dedicate this to our. Okay. Today our class is to honor Shabbat. We're going to finish in a few minutes just what we talked last week, and we go to the Halacha. What the Halacha has to say about honor of Shabbat. So we've learned great things about the significance of keeping the Shabbat and having the meals, and which meals give benefits, right? Every Seudah give benefits to to 2 days of the week. So Friday night for Sunday, Monday, morning, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Seudah Shlishi, the third Seudah, give blessings and abundance to Thursday, Friday. Okay? ברוך אתה אדוני אלוהינו מלך העולם שהכל נהיה בדברו. He says in the Sha'ar HaKavanot of the Ari HaKadosh, it teaches us that anything you're saying, it's for the sake of Shabbat. The Kedusha, the sanctity of Shabbat, תדליק לי מזגן פה מותק. The sanctity of Shabbat already rests on that food, even if you eat it during the week. Just by saying and having intention, this chicken, I'm going to eat it for Shabbat. You bought it on Monday. Then you decided to go with something else. The Kedusha is already said, rest upon that chicken. I can give you an example from the Torah. Can you give me an example from the Torah? When you didn't do anything, you just said a few words about something, and it's already take effect.
Sanctified, you mean? It's already sanctified.
Sanctified. For example, you're sitting at your porch and you say, this lamb is, or this goat is going to go for korban. It's a good one. Next time I go to Aliyah L'Regel, pilgrimage, right? I'm taking this with me. Okay. What do they need to do? They must put a sign on it. Why? Because you dedicated that one. You can't, it says, Lo yamir tov bera, vera betov. Don't exchange it with anything else. Because the Kedusha rests already on that animal. You can replace it, even if you see something that you think it's better. The Torah said, don't replace it with something better. Why not? Some people will, their bias is saying, this is maybe it's too expensive. No, this one is better. This one is better. And you take something else. The Torah says, as soon as you dedicate something, it's done deal. There's nothing you can do about it. Obviously, you can sell and use the money for korban, for its value, whatever. But you see how the words that comes out of our mouth are very powerful.
I'm just thinking, talk with friends, when Yitzchak benched Yaakov, he thought it was, his words were out, once they're out, and then he realized later it was, he said, the bracha still stays.
Right.
So that's an example you're referring to?
No.
No? Okay.
I was referring, but it's a good point what you're saying. There's a question there. I don't want to go there, but I'm just to give you something to think about, food for thought. We always saying that what's important about a blessing is kavana, is the intention. I can say, God forbid, bad words, but my intention is good. It's going to be according to my intention. Like in the Gemara in Moed Katan, that brings the story with the son of Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, that Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai sent him to get blessings from two great scholars, and as it sounds like the way they bless him sounds like curse. Your house will destroy. What you bring in, you want to bring out. What you bring out, don't bring in. If you read the whole six blessings, words of blessing, it's disaster. But it turns out there was a blessing because they were hiding this. Rabbi Shimon, his father, interpreted to him. So we see that it follows the intention. Like I said, hey, break a leg. Do we really mean that it will break a leg? What do we mean?
Have a good job.
So it's follow the intention. Okay? So, but Yitzchak, it's kind of like questionable because in his mind he's blessing Esav. So his intention is to bless Esav. So how is it possible that Yaakov will get the blessing? A few minutes later, when Esav came and complained, then Yitzchak realized, right, that the blessing he gave to Yaakov instead of Esav, as he says, whatever I said,
That remains.
right. So now his intention is complete to Yaakov. So till then it was a problematic situation. You probably noticed that, and I think I mentioned that before. Tell me if you notice it. You eat Shabbat food, you have a different taste than a regular week.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Can you explain to me what's going on? Even if I eat salads, leftover, I eat the whole week leftovers from Shabbat. Okay? The taste is if my wife will make the same salad right now, even the egg salad, it's not the same. What's in it? So we call it Tavlin Shel Shabbat. This is how it's called. Shabbat spice. There's a story with, I don't know if it brings it here. There's a story with Rabbi Yehuda Nasi. He was friend with Antoninos. Okay? תשתדל בלי רעש, זה מרעיש לי. So he came by Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, he ate by him, he said, it's a wonderful food. It's not even hot. It's cold. Some of the food. What is it? He said, we have special spice. I said, do I have a problem to buy anything? Tell me, I'll buy the spice. How did you do this chulent? He gave him the recipe. Antonius did exactly following the chulent recipe, putting the spices, the ketchup, everything is in. Calling him Motzi Shabbos, Rabbi Yehuda, it's not the same. I followed all the steps. He says, you're missing a tavlin on Shabbat. So what is the Shabbat? He says, the Kedusha of Shabbat, the preparation, the Hakavana. It's a special food for Shabbat. And Hashem brings down a blessing over the food. And the taste is different. We can all feel it. So, I did it with intention for Shabbat. I did it. I did that too. What did he tell him?
He's a goy. He has no tables in Shabbat.
Right. The non-Jews has no commandment to keep the Shabbat. It says in order to have, the same taste like me, you need to become a Jew, and then it will rest, will dwell on it. Okay. The word tavlin means spice. Spices in Hebrew, tavlinim. Spice, the tavlin. So, Aderet Kedusha says the tavlin is the words of tni lev. Give heart, pay attention. Tni lev. So, meaning we all need to have in mind this food is prepared for Shabbat with the kavanah to have oneg Shabbat, to honor the Shabbat. Only then the blessing will rest on this food. If you do it for your own pleasure, for your stomach, for your friends that coming, okay. But if you do it for the sake of Shabbat, then it will rest. Yes.
Rabbi, I always tell my brother, this food is so unbelievable. It's hard to, I'm doing it for the sake of Shabbat, but it's so unbelievable, it's hard to separate. Man, I'm eating it. This food is phenomenal. You're doing it for Hashem. I have to concentrate on, I'm doing it for the sanctity of Shabbos because
Correct.
It's so unbelievably good. For the rest of that, you can get consumed by how great it is.
Correct. That's really always say for the sake of Shabbat. Whatever you buy during the week, so Shabbat, beside the kedusha, the holiness that will rest upon it, Hashem will give you the money back because all the expenses that you spend for the sake of Shabbat and holidays, Hashem promised to give back, as we said before. Let me just wrap it up by saying that It says in the tractate Shabbat Kuf Yudchet 118. Anyone that fulfilled this mitzvah of having 3 seudot on Shabbat, Nitzol, he will be spared, he will be saved from 3 disasters. What are they? The days of Mashiach, Messianic days, from Gehenna, from hell, and from Gog Magog. Meaning, a person could live in that generation and not go through all these sufferings. He will be saved, because it's going to be a lot of sufferings. So someone that is really strict about it and is trying to fulfill this mitzvah of 3 seudot on Shabbat, he is going to be in that club that is protected from these disasters and will be spared. And it says that one that has the money, he has the ability to buy product for Shabbat and spend the money, doesn't do that, he doesn't do oneg Shabbat, pleasure building of Shabbat, pleasure of Shabbat, the letters of oneg will switch for him to nega, to an affliction. Okay? So it could be in this world, it could be in the next world, it could be both. It depends on one's account. Okay, any questions so far? All right. Is it a mitzvah? Now go to the halacha. Is it a chiyuv? Is it a must to eat meat on Shabbat?
Yes. No, it's on Yontif.
On?
Pesach.
Yon?
Yontif.
What's yon?
Yontif.
Yom Tov.
Yom Tov.
Thank you. Yom Tov. What's Yom Tov?
I knew what you were saying.
I'm
sorry.
I couldn't understand what he's saying. The halacha does not require one to eat meat during the Shabbat meals, since there is not specific mitzvah of simcha, rejoicing on Shabbat. When do we need to rejoice? A mitzvah to rejoice?
Yom Tov.
Yom Tov. As we sing it every holiday. V'samachta b'chagecha. V'samachta, you should have a joyful time. B'chagecha. So we're celebrating on the holidays, we're eating, we're drinking. The halacha is lenient about cooking food because we're excited to barbecue, to cook. So you have a good time. Half of the holiday is for you and the other half is for Hashem. So we're doing tefillah, we're doing Torah learning, and the other half we can have fun. It's all good. By the way, the Gaon Mevina says that this is one of the most hardest mitzvot in the Torah, to be joyful. Okay? Why? Because if you're not joyful, you might be committing a sin, because you're commended. It says, V'samachta b'chagecha. Why are you sad? Why are you upset? Why are you angry? It says, I can be joyful for 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours. You want me 24 hours, the whole day, or 7 days for the whole Pesach? Not to get upset from... You see where I'm getting with, right? It's not easy thing if you think about it, but we're doing our best, I guess. So on Shabbat, we don't have these commandments to be joyful. Obviously, it's great. You can be joyful, but it's not a command like on a holiday. Even so, it is certainly commendable for one who can afford it to purchase meat with which to honor the Shabbat. So on Shabbat, well, let us say the Hakach. Say the Hakach, let's say קודם זה. נעשה זה אחר כך. זה נורא מפריע. So, one can afford buy meat. Obviously, it's going to make him happy, or good food. Do it. Okay? Even so, it is certainly commendable for one who can afford it to purchase meat with which to honor the Shabbat. One should serve meat, wine, and other delicacies, right, in accordance with one's budget.
I'm not going to say Yom again.
Every Jew should serve and eat those foods that are considered tasty and fine in the society in which he lives. Okay, some places they like beer more than wine, so serve beer. Whatever makes you happy. Okay, as long as it's kosher and healthy. Okay.
Isn't there something with Shabbos it's supposed to be dagim, the basar?
You see that?
Correct.
Say that, it's
Correct.
like mirrors.
Correct. So dagim, fish, as we mentioned, it's a great blessing to have. The Mekubalim hold that you should have it on every meal of the third meal that you have. You would bring upon yourself a great blessing if at least you bring it at night or one of the meals. Because it says, as we mentioned the other day, when God created the world, the word blessing was on 3 days, right? It was on Thursday, it was Friday, on Shabbat. Thursday when he created the fish, and it says Hashem blesses the fish. Adam on Friday, and Hashem blesses Adam. And Shabbat, and Hashem blesses the Shabbat. So blessing, blessing, blessing. On Shabbat, Shabbat has blessing. The person is in Shabbat, there's blessing. You're missing one more. 3, it's a strong number in Judaism. So we're bringing fish, so we have 3, v'achuta meshulash, as we're saying. So we have a triangle of a strong blessing made out of Shabbat, fish, and man. Make sense?
Yes.
Right.
What about the basar?
Basar,
It's just
preferable beef. If you can't, you can do chicken.
But you said it wasn't, that's, you know,
It's not mandatory,
not mandatory.
but
But fish.
there's a mitzvah, basar v'dagim. You see the sing, even when we're singing on Shabbat, some of the songs,
Yeah.
you see in the wording, basar v'dagim, yeah.
One of them, very well one, I don't remember which, it says fish and fowl. Fish and fowl and positive.
Yeah, you're right, fish and fowl. Okay.
So fish is mandatory.
No, nothing is mandatory.
Not mandatory.
The mandatory is the kiddush and eating kazait bread. That's a must. In order for it to be called seudah, you got to do kiddush and eat at least a kazait, which is a half an egg size of, let's say, the safe size, an egg size of bread. It's the minimum required. Okay, but obviously we want to have more blessings, so we're bringing more food to the table. Someone asked the question? Okay. So, all right. Someone who cannot afford to okay, I remember. Why the custom is to eat meat on Shabbat and fish. Another reason is because meat, it's relatively expensive, okay, compared to all other food. People could not afford it, so they were saving it for Shabbat. So this is why the custom of eating on Shabbat, okay, meat. Someone who cannot afford to purchase meat for Shabbat should serve whatever tasty foods are within his budget. One whose funds are so limited that he cannot afford to purchase food for all 3 meals of Shabbat should make to do with 2 meals rather than beg for assistance from others. It is an extreme case, okay? If possible, such a person should skimp on his expenses for his weekdays meals in order to be able to purchase food for his Shabbat meal. If, however, one cannot afford even 2 basic meals for Shabbat, one should approach the trustees of a charity fund and request assistance so as to be able to eat 3 meals on Shabbat. We're singing, right? What's levu? Borrow. Hashem said, even if you need to borrow the money, don't worry, I'll cover it for you. You'll get it back. I'll find a way to get you the money back. Okay? So in case someone, needs to borrow, you borrow the money and it's okay. Because usually the Torah much against borrowing money. It is proper to eat fish on Shabbat. If possible, one should eat fish during each of the 3 meals, but one should have fish at least during the first meal on Friday evening and during the third meal. Someone who does not enjoy eating fish, however, does not have to force himself to eat it. For the purpose of the mitzvah of eating on Shabbat is to enjoy, not to torture oneself. Okay? If someone wishes to eat meat after having eaten fish, is it okay?
Yes.
I eat fish, can I eat meat?
Yes.
Okay. Now I switch it. I eat meat and now I want to eat fish.
Yeah.
Why not?
Because I was told not to.
Thank you. No questions.
There's no problem. There's no problem. It's only the prohibition, only dairy, not about fish. Fish, why are we eating fish first and then meat? You see the order. You're right, it's lighter. Rambam gives recommendation in the first chapter of the Ot, if one maintain a healthy lifestyle like he recommends, he guarantees you'll never get sick and you die in old age. And he brings the whole list there, what to do and what not to do. And one of the recommendation he brings there, Rambam, Maimonides, says the rule is to eat when you're hungry, to eat when you sit, and also to eat from light to heavy. Meaning you start with salads, and then you can go to soup, and then go to fish, and then go to chicken, and then go to beef. And even between beef, you should prefer the lamb versus the cow, because it's lighter. So if you work your way that way, you maintain a healthy body. And eat up to 2/3 of your stomach. Okay? Not too much. If someone wishes to eat meat after having eaten fish, he must wash his hands, chew on some bread to cleanse his mouth. Remember that we said there's 3 times we're supposed to wash hands? The beginning, at the end, and in the middle. What's in the middle? Here, when you are switching between, because especially back then, people used to hold the fish in their hand, pieces of fish in their hand, or the chicken, holding the drums, right? Drumsticks in the hand. So you do touch the bread, the fish. So it's therefore you need to wash the hands and cleanse the mouth. But it does not matter in what order these steps are taken. I'm sorry, skip. Chew on the mouth and rinse his mouth with water. So it doesn't matter if you chew first or you rinse your mouth first with water. But it does not matter in what order these steps are taken. It is best to also have a drink between the fish and the meat, so that something comes between them in one's stomach. All of the above should be practiced when one wishes to eat pho, after fish as well. If one ate the fish using a fork, and one's hands did not become soiled with fish, there is a basis to rely upon to continue eating without bothering to wash hands. Because use fork. Use fork, no pork. Okay, thank you. If someone who does not have enough cash on hand to purchase his Shabbat needs, should borrow the money. If the only way he can secure the loan is by agreeing to pay interest, we're not supposed to take interest, right? He is obligated to do so. See how the meal on Shabbat is so important. But we're twisting the halacha for it. This is, bending the halacha for it. This is done when borrowing from a Jew. Okay? Borrowing with interest from a non-Jew, there's no problem. By using a heter iska. Okay, I don't want to go through this. You know what heter iska is? It's like your partner in it. And let's move on. 10 more minutes.
I have one more quick question on the meat for Shabbat. If someone prefers dairy, do they have to have meat instead of dairy, or can they have dairy as one of the meals?
No, eat whatever you like. As long as it make you happy, and there's no problem. Now, all what we said honoring Shabbat an oneg Shabbat. It's all about the preparation before Shabbat, right? Every Jew is obligated to fulfill the mitzvot of kavod Shabbat, of oneg Shabbat. The mitzvah of kavod means honor, entails making preparations before Shabbat. It refers to the preparation before Shabbat that displays one honor of the Shabbat day. You see, people can see what you are busy with. Prepare for Shabbat or your own business. Okay? You can see people excited for Shabbat from the beginning of the week. See people, it's more common, from Thursday. Not only that they do shop for Shabbat, because it's debatable, some says you should better buy for Friday, but today it's different. You go to their house, Thursday night, you already see the Shabbat table is ready. But the Shabbat is tomorrow. Why are you ready? We are so excited, Shabbat is coming tomorrow. Setting up the tablecloth, putting the plates. This is how you show honor to Shabbat. This includes washing one's face, hands, and feet with hot water before Shabbat. Today we take in a shower. It's not like there. One must also change from one's weekday clothes into more elegant garments, fulfilling the dictum of your clothing on Shabbat should not be the same as your clothing during this week. Someone asked me the other day if you can wear jeans and t-shirts. And I told him, no. I gave him I didn't even start the sentence. He said, well, Rabbi, this is diesel. It costs like $1,000. And the t-shirt is a $200 t-shirt. I said, I understand. But I'm going to give you an example and tell me, maybe you understand. Now, Donald Trump is calling you, inviting you to the White House. Would you go that way? I'm going to have to get a suit. Exactly. I think Shabbat honor is a little bit more important than invitation to the White House. So always think like that. Okay? It's expensive jeans, it's all fine, but it's like a regular mundane day clothing. Shabbat, you should dedicate a suit, shirt, even if you can, shoes, but even if shoes is not mandatory, and actually this is our next halacha. The mitzvah of oneg Shabbat is to engage in activities on Shabbat that are pleasurable, like eating, drinking, and so on. It is not necessary to have shoes exclusively for Shabbat use. One may wear the same shoes one wears all week long. Nevertheless, it is proper to shine shoes well on Friday in honor of Shabbat. And then it is considered as if one has new shoes for Shabbat. One who does purchase shoes exclusively for Shabbat, for Shabbat use, will be blessed from heaven. So it's a good thing to dedicate shoes for Shabbat and Yom Tov. Obviously, it is important to sweep the house, to clean, to wash, prepare it. It's part of the mitzvah. And especially if you're saying, I'm cleaning up for Shabbat, I'm washing the dishes for the sake of Shabbat, then you get a mitzvah now. I'm preparing the table for Shabbat, I'm dressing up for Shabbat, I take haircut for Shabbat. Everything you say for Shabbat, you get an extra mitzvah. By saying it, you're showing intention that this is for the honor of Shabbat. So you're already doing it. Why not to say it? Just declare it. A few words, 2 seconds. I'm going to share with you an halacha that I don't think many people are aware of it, but let's share it. Ezra, the scribe. You remember Ezra, the scribe? How do you know him? Do you know him?
I mean, I don't personally know.
Not personally, right? I'm saying Ezra. Everybody, yeah, I know Ezra. Yeah, I met him once. No, Ezra the scribe.
Came back from Babylon.
Ezra and Nehemiah. Nehemiah came later. Ezra, he formed the Knesset Agdolah. They formed the Siddur that we have today. Okay, the Nusach. The times of the Second Temple, right? So Ezra the scribe instituted a halacha that one should not launder on Friday the clothes needed for Shabbat. Well, why not? Rather, one should launder them on Thursday. This was so one will have time on Friday for other Shabbat preparations. Okay? It's permissible to do the laundry on Wednesday as well. One, on this occasion, which when Wednesday and Thursday are Rosh Chodesh, and they won't. Okay, let me summarize it. Today is a bit different. Why? I don't know if you remember, but back then, to do laundry, it was a whole mission. Describing go to the river, bring water, it would take sometimes hour plus 2 hours, 3 hours. Today, you leave it in the machine, it can take 2 or 3 hours, but you're not really busy with it, okay? So it's a different story that today, we don't have waste so much time. It looks like it is, nowadays, since one uses an automatic washing machine, and laundering is no longer the time-consuming task it used to be, so it may be done on Friday itself. I have less halacha for today, and I would encourage every person to do it maybe at least once a month. Some doing it every Friday. It is highly recommended, if it is possible, that the housewife knead and bake at home the bread that she plans to serve on Shabbat. Okay? It's part of the tikkun, the halal, Adam and Eve and all that. There are poskim who rule that since nowadays the bakeries bakes fresh loaves, especially for Shabbat meals, it is not necessary to bake at home. However, this is an incorrect ruling, since when a housewife bakes her own homemade bread, it gives her the opportunity to fulfill the mitzvah of separating challah, especially on Friday. Okay? The amount of flour that it's called a frashat challah. Okay, separate challah. One should, she should use to be obligated to separate challah is at least 1.560 kilograms, or 3 pounds and 7 ounces nowadays. This is the minimum amount to take the frashat challah, the separated challah. Since the separated challah is destroyed, usually it is burnt. You don't necessarily have to burn it. You can wrap it in 2 wraps and trash it if you don't like the smoke in the house. And it is not given to a kohen as it was in ancient times. Any tiny bit of dough separated from the kneading is sufficient to fulfill the mitzvah. So it's a great blessing to do that. All the efforts and the challah on the table, and the head of the household will make bracha, motzi lechem, on something that you baked. It's a great mitzvah, and it says in the Kabbalah that it brings a long life to those who are making it. So it's even there's a question in the Halacha if the husband wants to do the challah. So why she's doing it every week? I want to do it too. Or she wants to light the candles. You know, we're obligated to light candles. Or the wife get precedence. So the halacha is leaning more to the woman. She get the blessing, and you, the man, the head of you have other opportunities. Okay, so challah is a great mitzvah and great opportunity for the wife to get blessing as a long life and to respect the Shabbat by doing that, and so forth and so on. It does not limit it to challah. It could be a break, it could be a rose, it could be pita, anything that we are planning to make a blessing over it. You can make even pita, it's good. Okay, as long as they do hamotzi on Shabbat on it. Any questions? Hashem will bless you with long life and a good life. Our next topic will be about renting a field or store to a non-Jew, using a non-Jew on Shabbat, a non-Jew partner, and so forth and so on. What do you do? He's working on Shabbat, you're staying home. Can you enjoy the benefit? Can you enjoy the benefit? It's as if you work on Shabbat. All these things are next topic. Any questions? Shavua Tov.
I have
Shabbat
one
Shalom.
question. If you have a kid make the challah instead of the woman of the house or something like that, does that blessing of a long life then go to the child rather than the mother?
Yes, anyone that makes challah will get the long life. Just make sure that his hands clear of boogers and so. Yeah.
Fair enough.
Thank you. Shavua Tov.
Thank you very much.
You're gonna get to us
Sure,
on
no.
Sunday where you want to do the cheer. So give us some.